Welcome back to another episode of the Baker and the Banker podcast. I'm Jenny Keller of Jenny Cookies, and this is my mortgage guy, Dan.
Hey, up close and personal today with my mortgage guy, Dan.
Can't wait.
We're going to get behind the scenes today.
Okay.
Something big we've been working on.
Yeah, we've given you guys a few Easter eggs the last couple of podcasts that we were going through a challenge. We were...
So what was the challenge, Jenny?
The challenge... Well, you were facing the challenge a little more than I was.
It was me.
You did the beginning part. I have to do the second part
All
of
right.
this.
So I'm going to give you a hint real quick. I'm going to give you a hint in regards to what we've been up to and the news. So hold on. Okay, everyone, you ready? Here we go.
I like to move it. I like to move it. You like to move it. I like to move it. I like to move it.
Can you guess the movie? Name that movie.
First off, one of my favorite movies. I love like goofy cartoon type movies.
So funny.
Madagascar, Ice Age.
Dan said, "What are we talking about today?" And I said, "I know what we're talking about, and I already know the title of the podcast.
All right.
Do you want to hear it?" And I told him, and it's literally made your whole day.
Because I love the song. I love the movie. All right, so we have been working over the past 2 months. There was a house off market about 10 doors down. Now, we live down on Richmond Beach, right? So there's only about 21 homes. And I would probably say 11 of the homes are just really, really, really old. And kind of like ours when we bought ours and we have to fix it up and stuff like that. They're little smaller cottages. But there's a handful of nicer, bigger homes. And I told Adam, our realtor, oh gosh, two years ago, hey, we absolutely love the house. But there's 2 houses down the road and a couple houses up the road that if those guys ever go for sale, if you ever hear about it, just let us know, because at some point our kids, listen, we live in the most beautiful house, but it's a nice little house. Like, we don't entertain Thanksgiving or Christmas because we're at about 2,400 square feet. It's not that big.
Is it even that big?
I don't even think it's that big. It doesn't feel that big.
But it's
I think
my
downstairs
favorite.
is big.
I love it.
It's our master bedroom and our bonus room downstairs, but upstairs where we all live and congregate, it's just really tight. Allie's 17. She wants to have friends over. Hudson's 14 now. He wants to have friends over. And there's just really, I get home from work, you get home from work, and we really don't want people in our tiny little kitchen living room area.
So what are you trying to say?
So we had an opportunity to snag a house, a beautiful house, off market in a really, see, here's the thing. I'm in the mortgage profession and I keep preaching to people. I've been preaching to people for the last 6 months that this is the best time in my career since 2012, I think, to buy a home. And I give that advice every single day, and an incredible opportunity. We were presented with an incredible opportunity. The bummer part is we had to buy that house without selling our house. So
I think the bummer part was not even the bummer, but the hardest part was we found this house. We were introduced to it by our realtor before it hit the market. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Do you want to go see this house?" Literally, it was like, it's been since March? Early March. "Do you want to go look at this house? It's going to hit the market." And we go see it. And then they say, if you like it, you have to put in an offer right now, or else it's going to be listed. So we had 24 hours to make
we had a couple,
huge
we had a couple
decision.
of days to look at it, talk about it, think about it, pray about it. And then the problem is, the thing is with these off-market houses, you have an opportunity to get, in my opinion, there's just no inventory right now. And in the market that we're in, there's a lot of people that have cash. And I just think that if this house went on the market, this is my personal opinion, the sellers probably could have got a little bit more money. And I feel like we offered a little bit more than what they wanted to list it for. And it just, all the stars aligned. And they said yes. And so we're moving. We're moving. So I like to move it. People are like, I'm just waiting for family members and relatives to be like, "Oh my God, you move every 5 years."
Everybody's going to say this. I've already heard it from even a couple of my friends. Like, "You guys move a lot, or you're really good at moving. You must love to move." So I'm prepared to hear that from everybody, because we have moved a lot.
Like, our last 3 houses, though, have been within a mile of each other.
That's that's the funny thing. I mean, we bought our first house in Lake Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we moved out to Stanwood for a very short time to Warm Beach, moved back to our first house.
Mm-hmm.
Then we built what I thought was our dream house, the farmhouse in Lake Stevens.
That was in 2014, 2013.
Then
Okay.
we realized we had to move south because our kids were going to be going to school down
I
south. You were
worked in
working down
Kirkland,
south.
yeah.
And I fell in love with this little town called Woodway.
Yep.
And from Woodway, we moved literally to the house.
A mile down the road to the beach.
Yep.
To Richmond Beach.
Yep. And then now we're like, my kids will say, Mom, you always say you're never going to move. And I'm like, here's the thing. I'm never going to move from the water. Once we hit the water, I was like, there's no
So
way. I'd live in a
amazing.
tent to live where we live.
So let's frame it this way. The house that we live in right now, let's just say is 2,400 square feet, 2 stories. So it looks like a Rambler with a daylight basement from the road.
It's a beach house.
And it's a beautiful
teeny.
little beach house. It's teeny. But the people that we bought it from 3.5 years ago, they had plans and they said they had permits and plans to go up another floor.
Yeah.
So I've looked into that. To add another floor, you're looking at almost 2 years with the permitting process now with the city of Shoreline and supply chain issues, contractors, architects, builders, and you're looking at about $1.2 million.
Yeah.
The house that we just purchased was renovated, had a $1.6 million renovation 4 years ago. It's done. It's done. It's move-in ready. It's 3 floors, 3 stories. And it just meets all of our criteria for our kids for this phase in our life. And we absolutely love it. And
Dan is so excited about this
excited.
house. I feel like I don't want to say taking one for the team because it is a beautiful house, but it's not one I would pick out. It's definitely like a different style than I'm used to. But like Dan said, it hit our criteria of it has space for the kids. And our house right now, I mean, I love it so much. So it's very, very bittersweet for me to move from our cute little beach house. But like if Allie and Hudson want to have friends over, there's nowhere for them to go. It's like unless it's, obviously summer, they can go hang out on the back deck. But the house itself is small. So, which is fine. I had no plans to leave, but we had our eyes open.
But we knew when we bought it, we were going to have to renovate it.
Yeah.
And that was going to be about $1 million renovation.
And like,
yeah.
if you've ever renovated a home, like there's a saying out there that like, if you've been able to make it through that, like you have a strong marriage because it's the most taxing thing.
We've done it twice in 18 years.
And I'll tell you, when we did the farmhouse, it was one of the most stressful things I've ever done. I remember thinking I never, ever want to do this again. But I also am really particular and I want to make sure I'm very decisive in my decisions and make really, I don't know, decisions that are going to stand the test of time, I guess, or I don't know. Anyway.
Well, you're an entertainer. This house will allow you to have the most amazing Christmas and Thanksgiving and just gatherings. And it's got a great, obviously, back patio and everything for entertaining outdoors. But indoors, it meets the criteria there. But it has the most glorious master bathroom. And I'm
actually going to live in the
so
bathroom.
excited. So when Adam introduced me to this, I went and looked at it without you. You were gone somewhere. I think you were out of
was
town.
at a volleyball tournament.
A volleyball tournament. And I went and looked at it. And the funny thing is, I had Googled the address online.
Yeah.
And it was...
And that's what you sent me. And I was like, I can't fix that.
The images on Redfin were from before when they bought it, before the remodel.
Too.
And
it
so I'm
bad.
like, So I was like, oh, maybe we can go in and look at this and get it for
you
a
may as well
steal.
look.
But it's going to be a project. It's going to be a renovation. I walk in.
Not expecting it to be.
And
remodeled.
it's like amazing. And I'm like, oh gosh, no, there's no way. This is going to hit the market and they're going to want way too much money for this. And it all ended up working out. And so I'm texting Jenny going, OMG, OMG, OMG. Now here's the cool thing. I go upstairs and I see this most beautiful master bathroom with a big, huge soaking tub, which you have gone without. I know how much you love it. And you've gone without one for about 4 years now.
It's my favorite.
It's your favorite
thing. Like since I was pregnant with Allie, maybe you moms can relate. There's something about taking a bath when you're pregnant. It just like, cause you're so like heavy, with the baby on you. So I think you're like buoyant in water or something,
float.
right?
It takes the
I don't
weight.
know. Allie's 17,
Yeah.
but since the day I was pregnant with Allie until we moved to the beach house, I took a bath every single
You've always
night.
had a nice tub.
Don't care what time of night.
Yeah.
Had to have a bath. Like I had to sit in the bathtub, wash my face. And so when we moved to the beach house, I loved it so much, but that was something I had to let go of. I was like, what am I going to do? This is so weird. And because I'm so used to, I think that when you take a bath, like it's not weird. Like a lot of people think it's weird that you sit in your own like dirty water.
Yeah,
Do you think that's weird?
I don't think it's dirty. You put stuff in it.
I don't either. But
I don't ever think
some
of you
people
as dirty.
think that. No. But in my head, I feel like you are clean after you take a bath. I mean, kids take baths and you don't shower them afterwards. And so I would get bed clean every single night, right? And then here it was like, okay, do I take showers at night? Or like, it's a lot. But anyways, all that to say, I mean, when you say check the boxes, it was like, okay, it has a bathtub. I'm so excited.
It has a great walk-in closet for you and your clothes and everything that you have.
The walk-in closet is amazing. Yeah. The other thing I'm super excited about is a laundry room.
Yeah, it does.
Because in our beach house, we have like a very small stackable washer dryer that's in our closet. And so, I mean, when you have laundry overflowing with teenagers, it's in your closet.
Yeah.
And
Any of you guys with teenagers or kids?
Can you relate to this? Like mountains of laundry. Like I do laundry all day, every day. And when I finally get to the 2 baskets, which are supposed to be whites and darks, even though nobody can follow that rule, I get it finally empty. And it's like sight unseen.
And
then
Allie comes home.
Literally 30 seconds later, this mountain of clothes comes down. I'm like, where did this come from?
It came from her closet.
It's like, and my kids bring down so much. I kid you not. They like lay a blanket out on the ground and then they put all their dirty laundry on it so they can carry it all downstairs. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
They're not kidding.
It's one chore I don't mind doing at all. Like I actually enjoy doing laundry. I don't mind folding it. I think the annoying part of laundry for me is take your laundry away. Like once I do it, I fold it. I need you to take it and put it away in your bedrooms because again, our house is small. So all the laundry room is like our closet and our bedroom. Because I fold all the laundry in our bedroom and then it stacks up on our sofa in our room.
Can I tell you what my pet peeve is with laundry?
Yes, I want to hear.
And helping you fold it when I do? Our kids, when they take off their pants or their shirts.
Inside out. I know
inside
it
out.
really bothers you.
So here's what I do. I don't turn it the right way. I fold them
I noticed you started
out.
doing this.
I'm like, you guys are going to figure it out sooner than later. So your socks, your everything.
Yeah.
So
my pet peeve with that, I can relate, is it's baseball season. Take the belt out of the baseball pants. Like,
so, Mom,
why can't you take the baseball belt out? Tell me why, Dan.
Let me know if I was guilty of that. Did I leave the belt in the pants for you? I feel like I did when I got older. I want to say it was probably junior high to high school-ish. And my mom may fact check me here on this one.
I'm so
but
curious.
I feel like I did my own laundry when I got to that age. But I want to know. I'll have to ask my mom if I was guilty
I've
of that.
thought before, like, could I just throw it in? Like, is it going to bleach? But then I'm going to have to hear it, like, bang up against the walls of the washer and dryer.
Those are heavy belts, metal.
It's that's so annoying to me. Like, get the belt out, and the season has just begun.
So it has an amazing laundry
We have a laundry room.
Check this out, too. It's solar.
That's
so
cool.
We get a lot of direct light down there on the water, and so we lose power a lot down there as well in Shoreline and in Woodway because of the winds coming right off of the water, and it has a Tesla solar panel in the garage, so it's great. So I don't know if you guys know anything about solar. I'm going to start talking about it because I've learned a lot about it. It saves you approximately $300 to $400 a month in energy costs, and what it does is you create your own energy bank, and then the city buys it back from you. So it's really cool at the end of every month. So you end up saving money on that. But here's the one thing that I saw, and I absolutely loved it. I know you know what I'm thinking about right now. This house is down on the water, like literally. Like we're up 15 feet on a bulkhead, but this part of the beach is low bank, and so the tide doesn't come all the way up to the house on this end of the beach, and it has its own little mini boat launch.
I know I feel like that was almost
sold me.
Yeah, was that your selling point?
Yeah. Well, no, the bathtub for you upstairs. I was like, we're buying this house. And then I look out the window and I'm like, wait, is that you guys have a boat launch? She was like, oh yeah,
that was
yeah. You just roll it right down there.
I mean, within the same day, Dan was like Googling like little aluminum boats.
Yep, 12-foot aluminum boats. Yeah. So, anyways, we're moving about 12 doors down. Super excited to start the next chapter of our life. So,
I mean, we share all this too because, I mean, it might be like, why are you telling us that we're moving? But all these years that we've done all these moves, I mean, I feel like our life is out there for everybody, So if we didn't say anything, it would be weird to all of a sudden like see us in a different kitchen,
Well, your life is out there. Mine is, we were talking about maybe doing a podcast on this, and I think this is relevant for my industry.
Yeah.
And so,
I said, Dan, this is your episode, so tie it in.
Well, I'm tying it in that I'm literally the advice that I'm giving, I am doing. And so I think this is, if you're listening to this and you've been contemplating a change, listen, when interest rates drop, you are not happy with our payment right now.
No.
You're not happy with it. The rates suck.
Yeah.
It's a high payment. But what did I tell you the other day? Interest rates are going to come down at the end of this year, Q1 or Q2 of next year.
Yeah.
And we can refinance and lower that. And so it's all going to be fine. We're going to sell our house and take some of that money and recast and put it down on our loan. So all is good there. There's always a strategy. But there's two things that I really wanted to talk about. And I hope whether you own a home, if you're listening to this and you own a home, this is going to help you. Or if you're thinking about buying a home, this is good information that I teach first-time home buyers. It doesn't necessarily help them when they're buying a home, but if they can lodge this away and put this in their back pocket, and remember this, in the United States of America, there are capital gains laws per the tax code. And if you live in a home for 2 out of the last 5 years, you can sell it capital gains free, meaning tax free. You don't pay taxes on the profit. If you're married, that's up to $500,000 in equity or profit. If you're single, it's up to $250,000 in profit. Okay. So people are always like, Dan and Jenny, you move so much. You must really love moving. And whether it's sarcastic or not, or it's a jab or whatever it is, here's the thing. I do this for a living. I should know. Like you said this before, you should have the best credit score, Dan. Yeah. We should have the best interest rate, Dan. And we should have a very well managed and planned mortgage. And we do. And part of mortgage planning, I'm a mortgage professional, but I also am a mortgage planner. No extra cost. This is what you get by working with me. And this is the difference between me and banks and credit unions and other mortgage people out there. I help my clients with mortgage planning advice. Part of that advice is if you live in a home for 2 years, you're free to now sell that home. Well, we have experienced in the last 10 years a very hot housing market. Every home that we have bought, so we lived in the farmhouse for, let's just say, 5 years, approximately 5 years. We had just shy of $500,000 in equity. Cool. We pulled that out tax-free, put it into our Edmonds, our Woodway home that we bought. Awesome. As a down payment. It's just a move-up strategy.
Yeah.
I know some of the top mortgage people in all of America, and they teach the exact same thing to their clients. So then we were in Woodway. We waited 2 years to buy that house down in Richmond Beach. So we were capital gains exempt. Mm-hmm. There you go. And then now we were in the beach house, and it's been almost 4 years. 2 years, capital gains exempt. But get this. We've made almost $600,000 in equity in the beach house. So 500 of that is capital gains exempt, and we might have to pay just a tad on the difference if we get what we think we're going to get for the sale of our house.
It's confusing, but it totally makes sense if you really focus on what you're saying.
And if you're working with a professional that can help walk you through this. And so I tell you guys this because it's so important that when you purchase a home, that you understand that a home is one of the, and it really didn't used to be like this. You talk to a lot of financial planners nowadays, and they're like, yep, you're right, Dan. A home is the largest portion or part of your financial picture or portfolio. It is now. And so it's kind of it's that time. I was looking at the numbers. We looked at the house. I looked at our numbers, and I was like, hey, this pencils.
Yeah.
And one, it satisfies where we're at in our lives with our kids. Number two, I try to look at homes in 5-year increments. And if you look back on our life, we've pretty much done something every 5 years. Now, so that's important. And hopefully that might be a takeaway for if you are a homeowner or if you're thinking about buying a home, that's a really good strategy. There's an investment strategy along those lines too, that you can live in a home for 1 year and then put renters in that and go out and buy another home and buy that as an owner-occupied home. So there's a couple of different ways that I teach mortgage planning. If you guys have any questions on any of this and you want to strategize, I will do this. This is what I do for a living. I'm super passionate about it. I'll have a conversation with you free of charge. You can't pay me for any of that. The only way I get paid is from my bank one day when you do a mortgage, and I just hope that I'm your mortgage guy at that time, and my bank will pay me. You don't. But the last thing I want to talk about too is when people say, hey, you guys move every 2 or 3 years or every 5 years. Gosh, you must really like to move. You don't always get to be on the walks that you and I have and the conversations that you and I have and see how hard you and I work. And I believe that every single year since I've met you, I have grown. And I believe that's why we're still married. I think that's why we have a good marriage. I think that's why we both have really good careers, is that we're always growing personally and we're always growing professionally. And guess what? When you're growing personally and you're growing professionally, your income grows too. You become a little bit more successful too. You make more money. So sometimes you outgrow a lifestyle that you had, or you outgrow maybe a budget that you had. Right. So I just think that that's probably my most polite way of, oh, my God, you guys move so much. Yeah. Hey, that's a good thing. I think that's a really good thing. I'm saving money on taxes and, hey, we're growing. Why the heck not?
I love it.
And I get to buy my wife a house with an amazing soaking tub for her. That's the main reason.
Well, we haven't started like the hard part yet. Like, I know the hard part was you think the hard part was all the stuff you just did. What do you call all that?
Strategizing,
like finance and all that.
Mortgage financing. It's really hard to.
But now it's like all the packing and the unpacking and the going through it all. And I mean.
So let's talk about this. So maybe some tips or some people that haven't done this. When you buy a new house, what are some things that you like to do? I'm not talking about renovation, but hey, when you buy a new house, someone's lived in that house these people have lived in it for about 7 years, 6 or 7 years. What do you like to do to freshen it up, to kind of make it your own?
Well, I like to renovate, but we're going to refinish the floors. Obviously, I love to add fresh paint because fresh paint just like makes it smell good. Not the whole house, but we're going to do enough to freshen it up. One thing you told me a few years ago, since we've lived in this beach house we're in right now, was cleaning out your filters and vents.
Yeah.
I did not know this. And now that I know it, it's haunted me.
Really good real estate agent taught me this about 6 or 7 years ago. Christian Awesome did.
Yes.
We had a podcast together.
It was about the skin cells and all the weird dust and things that are
the guy said
in our
that
vents.
Every time you buy a home, if there's HVAC, you should have them professionally clean. And what they do is they blow them out, and then they send a cleanser and a kind of like an antibacterial type thing. So they clean them out, they blow them out, and then they push a bunch of cleanser and cleaner through, and then they blow them out again. And and he was like, I have to go find this podcast that we were on.
So
it was
gross,
sick. The guy was giving like stats
of how
on
nasty it
dead
is.
skin cells and animal stuff. And
yuck. Yep. So we definitely did that in the house we're in now. We'll probably do it in the house we're in going into. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, obviously, like, I'm a clean freak, so we're going to clean everything. But I mean, I've already ripped out the carpet where there was carpet, and we're going to put in hardwoods because I'm just I'm not a fan of carpet.
Yeah.
I know my kids are. They weren't real happy that I was taking that carpet out, but I feel like, I don't know, like bacteria and like dirt and things live in carpet. I know it's cozy. Like, I'll get you a rug.
Yeah.
But we also have 2 little dogs, and they
like carpet.
love carpet, if you know what I mean. I said, no way, because we're going to have to replace them eventually, so we may as well do it before we move in. Yeah. But, I mean, we're not doing anything huge, drastic. Like, we'll move in really soon. And one thing I'm so excited about, do you know what I'm going to say?
What you're going to say. In the kitchen?
Kitchen? No.
Oh. Okay.
No. Well, I mean, there's things in there that I like.
Something in the kitchen that I thought you were going to be super excited about.
No, it's who lives next door.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I just feel like it was just the right answer. Like, when little things happen and you're like, okay, this house was meant for us. So we go outside yesterday. Actually, I wasn't even outside. I was leaving the house from meeting with the painter. And this little old man comes into the garage and he's like, hey, I'm Stan. I live next door. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to meet you. I've been wondering who lives back here. I cannot wait to bring cookies to my new neighbors.
House. Yeah.
Cutest little house. And so they're outside. They're Their names are Lois and Stan. They're celebrating their 80th birthday on May 30th and May
Back-to-back
31st. Yep,
birthdays.
I've learned this. I can't wait to. I hope we're moved in by then so I can bring them something special. We talked to them. Dan ended up coming over. He didn't even know. He like walked up, and we talked to him for like an hour and a half. We got a full tour of their home. We learned everything about them. The guy is a retired podiatrist of
So he
like
was the foot
pro
doctor
athletes or
for
something.
listen, he was the foot doctor for the UW Athletics, for University of Washington Athletics, the Sonics, and the Mariners.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
It's really cool. And then cute little Lois is just in her little athletic skirt and leggings, and they're getting ready to go play pickleball. And turns out she's a pickleball champion.
She is a national champion.
National
They're going to
champion.
teach me how. They really want to teach me how
They
to do
were
pickleball.
so excited that we were moving. They couldn't wait to meet the kids. They're like, we're going to have so much fun. And I mean, having neighbors that, I don't know, that you get along with, that I feel like we could already call them if we needed something. Like, it's just weird when you don't know your neighbors or you don't have that relationship because you live, especially where we live really close to our neighbors.
We have really good neighbors right now, Jim and Becky. We love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, we've been really blessed with
Yeah.
great neighbors over the years. But I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that that's who we get to live next to. And I don't know, like,
So
I
here's
love old people. They're
I'll
just
I'll say
wise.
something personal right now, and I won't get too deep into this, but you and I were talking the other day, and it's not like Hudson's 14, okay, and he's a really good kid, and so, but Hudson's got a lot of energy and he's got a lot going on right now, and he has a little bit of an attitude sometimes, and the other day we were talking, and you were like, I would love to meet someone that has raised boys. You want to cut it?
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about that at all.
Okay, then we'll
Just
cut it.
Fuels the fire.
Then we'll cut it.
So
Then
why
we'll just pick
did-
up.
I don't know where you pick
Edit
up.
at 27, right around 27.
I don't know where you pick up from there.
Well, you don't start over. Okay, Renee, we are going to edit. So we'll just transition.
says
Okay,
I'm
and then
gonna
I'll just say,
tell a
I'll
personal
jump
story.
in and go, hey, one of the things that I love about Stan. Okay, go from there. Okay, you ready? Well, one of the things that I absolutely love about Stan, though, is one, we spent like 2 hours talking last night, and we have the sports background. But get this, he is, when the previous owner was giving me a walkthrough, he was like, okay, so let's talk about your neighbors. There's 3 neighbors up here. These guys right over here are super religious. And I was like, cool, that's cool. And then he was talking about the other 2. And so when Stan and I were talking, he was like, hey, have you guys ever done a Bible study? And I was like, I love it. Yes, I do. So Stan must be the super religious ones. And it was just so great.
But
Stan
he runs 2 Bible studies.
he runs 2 Bible studies. And
At 79.
Yep. And he's got, they have 2 boys with 8 grandsons.
No, they have a boy and a girl.
A boy and a girl with
Yeah.
8
grandsons,
grandsons. That is insane.
I'm so excited. Like, I'm very inspired by older people that that are active. I mean, I really want to be like that at that age.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were 79, going out on a Friday night to play pickleball together, married all these years. I don't know. I just was like, oh my gosh. It was just just one of those little signs where you're like, okay, this is such a win.
Yeah.
I'm really
to be
excited.
there. Okay.
I brought him cookies like that night because we had a shoot yesterday. And also, Dan, you were excited because she makes brunch.
They're brunch people.
They kept saying, we're going to have you over for breakfast. We can't wait to have you over for breakfast. And
Well,
I'm like,
and
do you
I-
guys make special breakfast or what is the thing with the breakfast?
I asked her.
Yeah.
We asked her, and she was like, oh, well, I make
Dutch
waffles to
babies and
die for
waffles and the best
pancakes to die
pancakes.
for. And then she goes, Dutch babies. And I was like, wait, I just texted Jenny a Dutch baby recipe the other day, a blueberry one. And she was like, oh, those are the Dutch babies that I make. And I was like, okay, I'll be over tomorrow morning for brunch.
We're excited.
That's amazing. So
They offered for us to use their lawn, their deck, anytime we needed to entertain. We kept like, it's okay. We're going to have our own space. But
Instantly
just so
friends.
generous. Yeah. I mean, the fact that we were inside their house within the first 5 minutes.
It's awesome.
Come on in. Let us give you a tour. It was just, I don't know. I'm very, very excited about that part. I really am.
So we're moving. Let's move it. Yeah. What else?
Well, now all the fun begins. I mean, it's the packing, it's the moving of all the utilities, it's the unpacking. I'm hoping my friends at the Orderly Space want to pay a visit to my house and help me get unpacked and organized, because there's no better investment than having them come to your home. If you don't know what the Orderly Space is and you're local, they are an organizing company out of Bellingham. Her name is Jennifer Johnson, the owner. She's turned into a friend of mine, and I'm not kidding. It's my favorite day when they come to our house. They come in, and I don't even know how they do it. I think it's just because it's easier to organize other people's stuff. Yeah. But they come in with a team of 4 or 6 or however many people you want to invite in, and they go through your entire house and they get it organized and they make it livable. And if you can keep up on it, I don't know, it just makes your life so, I don't know. I just love having an organized house. I feel like I can do life when there's order. And I think that that's how most people are. Mm-hmm. Have you ever known that? Like if your office is a mess, it's like hard to focus on what you're doing, or some people thrive in that. My brain doesn't work that way. I have to have order in our house for me to like sit down and write a blog or whatever. Like I have to do the dishes first or get the laundry going, or I can't work when everything is chaotic.
I like it.
But
I like that.
But I can't wait for them to come and help me get my kitchen in order, because I think the kitchen is like the biggest spot where you need it.
One of my, speaking usable. Of the kitchen, I thought that's what you were going to talk about versus the Amazing Neighbors. Yeah, it has a built-in,
you're excited about that.
Built-in coffee machine. We're talking cappuccino, latte, whatever you want, just a black cup of coffee. It's built in, filtered water, amazing. I'm stoked. Like I know I really love this house. So, yeah, we're moving. I think we should wrap up with a special tip.
Okay.
So, if you are thinking about moving, okay, I think there are a few resources, and maybe we can type this out or you can put this on the podcast or whatever. What is a checklist? Like, what are some things? Because, I mean, you are like super orderly when it comes to stuff like that. So when you knew that the loan was closing and we were officially getting this house, the appraisal's back, the loan's closing, mentally, what kind of mindset do you go into? Like, what are some like must have, check the box, like this is what I do when I'm planning to move?
Because I'm the expert. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, this week I spent a lot of time going through closets and things to get rid of things that I knew weren't going to make the move.
They weren't going to make the cut.
I have got a giant pile of Goodwill. I have a giant pile of, I love a gift closet. Mm-hmm. And so I went kind of through it, and there's all kinds of random, like I put in bags. I'm like, I'm going to take this to the bake shop. If any of the girls want any of this, they can have it. If not, donate it, whatever. You just have like tons of blankets and pillows and all these extra things like that, like they're just not going to go to the new house. So I've already started that. That way, when you go to pack, you already know what's going to make the cut. And then sometimes when you move and you unbox it all, you're like, actually, I didn't even need this. But if you can kind of sift through some of that first, because it's a lot of work. I've started thinking through a lot of that. Sometimes when you move, some of your furniture doesn't work. So I would definitely get on ordering new furniture ASAP, because the timeline for that is insane. We ended up actually purchasing the beds in the kids' bedrooms of the new house. So now, like, my kids' bedroom sets aren't going to go with us, So I'm starting to think, like, I should get this on Craigslist or, offer up or wherever, we're going to get rid of that stuff.
See, I just love how your mind works, because I'm just like, oh, we'll just grab it and we'll move in and we'll figure it out.
It's really not like that.
No, and you're really methodical.
It is so much work. And then on top of that, we got to get our house all up to par, before we can list it. So I'm grateful for that we didn't have to sell a house, while we're living in it, because it's hard. I've done it before, where you have to keep it clean all the time. And if you guys know, if you've done this before, like, it's really hard with kids, because you're like, don't touch anything, don't move anything, don't sit on the couch, don't leave your trash anywhere, and to have people come through to do like an open house or what is it called? Like a showing. Oh my gosh. But
that's the worst.
It's the worst.
The worst is when you're living in a house and you have it for sale. So this will all work out. You
never know. It happened at the farmhouse, and I was like, I'm never doing this again. Yeah. And it's weird to have people like in your house, I guess, going, like, they could just open your drawers, and it's kind of strange. But gosh, beyond that, I mean, it's hiring the movers. It's getting with our house, like
contractors,
the windshield, or not the windshield, the window cleaners coming, like we had our lawn serviced because we have turf, you know, so we had to have it serviced, I guess. There's so many things I'm not even thinking of. Setting up your garbage, setting up your utilities, setting up your cable and your internet and all that good stuff.
So I work with a couple of really great real estate agents, and they have just moving.
Oh, they
just
do.
Selling.
Did I hit any of them?
Yeah, you did. Well, you're like next level. You're like advanced, like level 2 version.
I got good movers if anybody needs a mover.
So let's wrap with this. If you're listening to this and you're thinking about buying or you're thinking about selling and you need a really great recommendation, whether it be real estate agent or movers or handyman, I've been in the mortgage industry for this is going to be 17 years this coming year.
Wow.
So I've built a lot of really great relationships. So if I could be a resource for you, would love to. I'd love to be your mortgage guy. Love to recommend you to a great real estate agent that I work with in the area that you're at. But other than that, like I think the good ones have a great crew. That's what I've found over the years.
Yeah.
They have a great referral network. Hey, we can take care of you here. We can take care of you with that. I mean, you've got the orderly people, like next level type stuff.
We got Danny, my Handy Danny.
We got Handy Danny. He's amazing.
But yeah, to speak on like our realtor had the flooring guy
next day
before we had even closed on the loan to kind of give us a bid and kind of because it's hard to figure all that out because you know you got to do it quick. Yeah. And the day we got keys, he was in ripping the carpet out.
Yeah. So yeah, if we can be a resource there, let us know. But exciting. I'm super excited for the next chapter.
I hope you guys weren't so bored listening to this. I mean, we're excited. And so we'll have lots to share, lots of renovations, and, we'll show it to you guys soon.
I'm sure your Instagram will be loaded.
But I thought, hey, this is a good one for Dan. This goes along with the banker.
Buy real estate right now, you guys. Rates are high, and the market is kind of flat. This house, 1 year ago, this house would probably have gone for at least $500,000 or more. And practicing my own advice right now. This is a great time to buy real estate. You can always refinance your mortgage when rates drop. You can't go back and rebuy a house. You're stuck with that. So buy the house, go rework the mortgage down the road. And that's my mortgage tip of the week.
All right. Do you have a challenge for anybody?
No challenge this week. This is a fun week.
You get a week off?
I will. Maybe a challenge is find an area, a part of your house that needs a little tune-up or an orderly space checkup. If you really want to go next level, reach out to Jenny. She'll introduce you to the orderly space, or you can follow them. What are they on Instagram?
Yeah, they're the orderly
space up in Bellingham. They're so amazing.
Oh my gosh, it's so satisfying to look at her Instagram because she does all the before and afters of her clients' homes. I've been there. Like I have had the skeletons in my closet have been opened, like the Monica closet. I have one.
I love it.
And they've been to my house a few times because I basically have it serviced every, 6 to 12 months. And they help you just tidy it back up. But no, it's fun to follow them for sure. I would highly recommend giving them a follow. You even get ideas. Like she always talks about tips and things, and she's a total minimalist and I'm not. She's like, do you really need this many of this? Or are you sure you need to keep this? And so I think we make a good pair.
I think you need to reconnect with her because I think you have a lot of duplicates in your closet that I think she could minimize.
I told you guys this already. Like if I like something, I want to have it in every color, Yeah. And that's why you and I work, because you just need the one.
I could wear this every single day.
And you do. All right, you guys, I hope you have an amazing week. We will be back next week with another episode of the Baker and the Banker podcast. Goodbye.